Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty universal: loneliness. We're looking at some personal reflections, someone's experience trying to tackle it head on over a week.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting source because it highlights how, even though we're seemingly so connected, that feeling of being truly alone, it affects so many people, all ages, all backgrounds.
Exactly. It's not just about being physically by yourself. The reflections really bring out the emotional side, the sadness, that anxiety that can come with it.
And how it can really impact your overall well-being.
So our mission here is to kind of unpack the causes mentioned in these reflections and, importantly, pull out some, actionable strategies, things you might be able to use.
Okay, so diving in, one major reason that comes up is pretty straightforwardly social isolation, like living alone, maybe not having many day-to-day interactions, feeling a bit detached from your community.
Right, that lack of actual face time. But it's more than that too, isn't it? The source digs into the lack of meaningful connections.
Oh, absolutely. You can be in a crowd, have lots of acquaintances, but still feel, completely alone if those deeper bonds aren't there.
What makes a connection meaningful in this context, do you think? Is it about vulnerability?
I think so. Vulnerability, maybe mutual support, shared interests or values. And, the reflections touch on how our digital lives, all the screen time, can sometimes get in the way of those richer face-to-face moments where that depth happens.
Yeah, it's like a substitute that isn't quite the real thing sometimes. So often it's a mix of these things piling up.
Seems likely. Isolation, shallow connections, maybe digital distraction kind of reinforcing it all.
Okay, but the good part is the source doesn't just dwell on the problem. It offers some concrete ideas, like joining clubs or groups.
Yes, things based on interests. Book clubs, sports teams, volunteering activities where you already have some common ground.
That makes sense. Shared interests are a natural starting point, right? Less pressure, maybe.
Definitely. It makes the interaction feel more organic. And another big one mentioned is reaching out to people you already know. Old friends, family.
Even just a text or a call. It seems small, but the source suggests it can make a real difference.
It can be huge. Loneliness can make you want to withdraw, so taking that step, however small, is quite powerful. It's about building, or maybe rebuilding, that support network. Friends, family, maybe even professional support sometimes.
And there's a great little story in the reflections that illustrates this. A friend moved somewhere new.
Yeah, exactly. Moved to a new city, felt totally isolated, which is, really common.
So what did they do? Just wait it out?
No, they were proactive. They started looking for local groups, things they liked, went to events. The reflections are clear, though. It wasn't like an overnight fix.
It took time.
It took time and consistent effort. But gradually, they started building connections, making friends.
And didn't they also start a blog or something?
Yes, which is such a great example of turning that struggle into something positive. Sharing their experience, connecting with others who felt the same way online. And eventually, they really felt part of a community again.
Wow. That really underlines the importance of, doing something, taking action.
Absolutely. It requires intention. You can't just passively wait for loneliness to disappear, usually.
Yeah.
You need to engage.
Yeah. So recapping those strategies: joining groups, reaching out to existing contacts, actively building that support system.
And focusing on the small steps.
Yeah.
That seems key, too. It's not about suddenly having a packed social calendar.
Right. It's about those gradual connections, one conversation, one shared coffee, maybe.
Exactly. Building momentum.
So if you're listening and this resonates, if you're feeling isolated, just know you're really not alone in feeling that way. It's a very human thing.
And the source mentioned people sharing their own stories, which is powerful in itself. Just acknowledging these feelings connects us in a way.
Definitely. So maybe a final thought to leave with: thinking about these ideas, that friend story. What's one small, manageable step you can take today? Just one thing to foster a connection, either new or existing,